Yeah, I like that one a lot too. I was everybody in the room commended him after that. There's like a good 10 minutes of everybody just kind of being like, "That's awesome." So we get stuff like that sometimes where you never know what the actual. I got to get to the right PowerPoint. Um, so you never know what you're going to see during a director's chat. They are really off the cuff. You can ask anything. I've never had a director say they're not going to answer anything, which is pretty cool. And so it's very, very open and honest. And like I said, like with Felissa Rose, it's really you're coming to somebody's house, and they're giving you full-on honest answers. It's a really cool experience. We have these directors chats practically every Friday, so definitely check it out. It's worth it. So we're going to kind of conduct one of these right now, actually. So just if we can get the lights just for a second, we're going to set up some chairs, and then we'll start bringing people out.
Lord, thank you for this shelter. I am grateful for these kind people who have welcomed me into their humble home in these challenging times. Please watch over us and keep us safe. In your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Our first director coming out from Nebraska, not Alaska, that is Tyler Schmid. Take a seat wherever you feel like sitting. You can be on the end, you can be in the middle. There's only one of you yet, so you don't have the opportunity to be awkward. I'll save that for Dustin. Oops. So we'll go to the next one. Here we go. Check this shit out, people.
It's post-mortem, of course, but every tumor, every mole, every piece of evidence that cancer ever existed is gone. I didn't want to show you this.
Jesus, Pete.
Not myself anymore, Al. I've become something else.
Obviously, you don't have to pre-order. You can go get it right there at that table. Dustin Mills, everybody. Yeah, you need to come up. You need to come up here. That's your cue, dude. That's your cue. That's right. People in the audience are telling you what to do. That's not a good sign.
You can't even walk up there.
I was going to pretend I wasn't here. Why am I coming up? What am I doing? I'm having
You're chatting.
Oh, I'm chatting?
Yeah. We drag random people from the audience and just make them have to talk. Sorry, Dustin, you were that guy.
Yeah.
Was not here. All right. John Pata.
Dude, there's zombies outside! What the hell are we gonna do?
Dude, don't worry about it. Let's rock.
1, 2, 3, 1.
That was John that actually got his head stomped. I just thought that. Everybody, John Pata.
7-year-old footage.
Yeah. Well, we're playing your whole movie later on.
Oh, that's fine. They have footage of your bird.
Well, actually, I think we have too many chairs, so we're going to ask questions of the people who didn't show up.
You mean you didn't hear?
You're what?
My neighbor. He got attacked and killed last night. They got the whole street blocked off.
This is nothing more than a stupid burglar trying to get some fast cash to support his crack habit.
Are you alright, mister?
It's horrible. Teeth, hair, green, bloodshot eyes.
Then I can conclude only one thing. The severed head of Robert Gross is alive and well in these woods.
Shit. You forgot the marshmallows.
Oh my god, it's a real brain.
You want to get and you're kicking it wrong. Time to make it right where you get covered. But you the fuck about all your bad luck.
Oh man, gotta get my dick wet. Then go dip it in the swamp.
It's gonna take a lot more than that shitty-ass box wine to ride this train, Rick James.
You're one wicked bitch, aren't you?
So, Derrick, Carey, everybody. Come on up here. And finally, to only prove and emphasize the fact that we have not enough directors for chairs.
Should I lay down here so
You could. Let's play Papa Zero real quick.
This caboose ran on this railroad track in the late 1880s.
Sure you know where you're going?
Let's go to Canaan. Done a little research.
Google's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
That's insane.
This place, I think it's haunted.
Man, that was the hokiest story ever.
Hey, I'm trying, man.
So I'd like to call up Matt Woodbury. That's Pop of Zero. It's a web series that we've actually been showing on our channel. And there's some local Michigan folks too. They're from Flint. So we have a few of you here. Not, there's too many cheers. That's kind of a screw up on our end here. But either way, we got. Sorry.
No, stay. You don't. They make you go down there. One of us. Cool.
Cool. All right. So we've had, I think, almost all of you guys on for Director's Chats. Not you yet. So you kind of know the routine a little bit. Usually we have everybody in the audience. If you have any questions about any of the films, just generally, that's how you do it.
Genius.
Look at that low-tech solution. So if anybody can think of any questions they might have for directors in particular, please, we're going to actually go and we'll have the mic and we'll come around to you. So just raise your hand and we'll get to you. So I just wanted to kind of throw out there, thanks, by the way, for everybody for showing up. We appreciate it, especially you from Alaska, because that's so far.
Can you see Russia from your house? On a clear day, maybe.
So let's start off with a few different things. First of all, I'm going to kind of go half circle around and work my way around. And then if anybody else has anything, please join on in. And actually, Janet, if you want to come over here and grab a mic, you can help out too. Yeah, I'm not keeping her over there or nothing. That's what I do. I'm like, stay over there. Kind of a dick. You can grab the wireless, actually. And then if you want a mic run or anything like that, you can totally go for it.
Cool, thank you.
All right.
I can take up all these chairs.
Somebody has to do it. Hey, so Tyler, you're actually finishing up Remission right now. How long has the process of putting that film together? I know you started talking to us late last year, early this year, and kind of mentioned it at that point. How long has that project been ongoing?
Well, okay, so last year in late September, early October, we started doing the Midnight Frights Halloween feature. It's like a 22-minute special that I'm going to be a little bit of a capitalist here. I have DVDs for sale over there. Anyhow, so we were coming back from shooting like the last little bit of that, and we had this awesome location. And it was given to us. I mean, like, not given to us forever, but we had permission that we could shoot there whenever we wanted. And so we started just bouncing around the idea. And Josh wanted to do something with just some maniac killer and people, just a gore fest. And I was like, no, we should do a story. We should actually have something with some substance.
Nobody wants.
What a novel idea, a story.
So we both decided that it'd be a good idea to just turn it into kind of a zombie movie, but not quite really a zombie movie. It's more of a tragedy. So anyhow, I think I wrote a short synopsis maybe the first week of November last year. So here it is a year later, and we have the film. We're almost done with post-production. We just need to clean it up a bit and chop off about half an hour. So it's kind of long. But we showed it last week in Grand Island, Nebraska, at a film festival for a bunch of our peers, and got a lot of good feedback, and we're just excited to get back at her and finish it up so we can show it for you guys.
Sweet, yeah, and we're looking forward to actually premiering it on the channel. That's one of the neat things we get to actually have. We've been lucky to have a lot of films before, sometimes even before they've even hit DVD, which is pretty insane. So you're getting a chance to see new work as new as it gets, like straight off the editing table half the time. That's usually pretty cool. Dustin.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got some feedback there. I think it's because we're right in front of that speaker. So, yeah. We'll figure it out. Right? Sorry. So Dustin, like the Ballad of Skinless Pete just came out. Yeah. You are a busy guy. How many films did you just make in this not just shorts, how many feature-length films did you make this year?
Hold on.
Tentacles, Asshole Zombies, Skinless Pete, and then Kill That Bitch is almost done. Almost 5, and then a couple of shorts.
So 5 feature-length films. This guy doesn't spend any time with his girlfriend. Sorry, you don't get any time.
That's not true. It probably makes it sound like I'm half-assing it, but we really don't. Like I never feel like we're like phoning it in, but I don't know why we work quickly. I don't know.
So we mentioned that then you have another one that's actually about to come out again.
Yeah.
So we just had the release of Skinless Pete. Kill That Bitch is coming out.
Yeah, I have a movie coming out called Kill That Bitch, which is way less misogynistic than the title implies. You have to see it to understand. I'm not saying it's not misogynistic, it's just not that misogynistic. The only way I can describe it, and The reason it's not done is we have like this big sequence at the end that we ran out of money for. So I think I've got everything I need, and we can do that. And it keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and hopefully January will actually be when it comes out. So if we can premiere it in January, Robert, that'd be fantastic. And but the best way to describe it is it looks and feels like a gritty, grimy slasher, but there's something else going on. I don't think I could ever make just a straight up slasher film. So there's another layer to it. There's something else going on that by the end, some people are going to be like, oh, and other people are going to be like, fuck you for doing what we do, but I don't care.
And don't you get that a lot anyway, though?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Janet, you worked with Dustin on one of his films, Easter Casket. What is it like to work with Dustin?
You know, he's really mean and he beats me all the time.
It's true, I do.
No, honestly, like, don't listen to him. He's a really good guy to work with. Him and his crew and his lady are awesome. So he's just very shy and doesn't want to admit it.
Right, so John...
You guys are cool too, but... You know.
Yeah, sorry.
Just saying, I
Sorry, everybody. John, your film was the first film that we actually feature-length film we aired on our channel, Dead Weight. And I have to say, this is a true story. John Pata is the guy that is the reason why you are all here right now. Because... No, it was Horror Hound, Indianapolis, September of 2012, and we, I brought my son to his first horror con. I'm not sure if I just made him disturbed and scarred or not. And we're, you pay for the nostalgia. You get in. I want some pictures with the cast from Aliens. That's cool, but like you get 30 seconds with them if you're lucky, maybe 15. All right, I got my picture. Get the fuck out. And that's generally how it goes. And so you spend all your time in the vendor rooms talking to people, getting to know the people at the tables. And you never know what films are sitting out there. You don't really know if they're any good or not. There's just it's kind of like the old days of going and renting a film, where you would just look at the box cover and hope to God that was something you were interested in, because you really had no way to know. And even if they had a TV set up so that you can watch some preview or not, you really don't have, previews we all know are fairly deceptive. So, I was thinking about that, and I was talking to John, and John was telling me about the struggles about making Dead Weight. And I've known John for a little bit further back, so and it's not like I met him in September, but I just realized, wow, this impacts people I care about and I know, and it was really John's story and John's passion that made me think, my God, I got to do this. And it was John Pata that put me in that spot. So
it was Robert Poole that started it. So
Robert Poole has no motivation without. So John, Dead Weight came out. Basically, you got to premiere it at a theater in your hometown. What was that like, and what has the reception been for your film?
Well, Dead Weight, which is playing next, right?
Yeah,
it is playing next. You guys will see, but it's survival horror mixed with a post-apocalyptic love story. And back home in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, I'm the president of a nonprofit movie theater, and so it was, hey, we need to premiere a film. I have a theater. So back where I come from, and Derrick's from that area too, very, very supportive, creative community, and we had over 800 people come out that weekend to see the film. Really great response. Very, very pleased. Just very supportive. In Wisconsin, and we're from, it's, hey, we're going to make a film. Can anyone help us? And it was like we had 50 people right there saying, what can we do? How can we help you? So it's very much a community-based project we dedicated to the state of Wisconsin, because we're big Wisconsinites. But, it's been 16 months, I think it is, since we've released it, and we have distribution through Kino Lorber. So come January, the film will be in Redbox and iTunes and Netflix and Amazon and that sort of stuff. So if you have Netflix, DVD queue, you can save it right now. The more saves we get, the more copies they pick up, and then it'll go to instant streaming. So shameless plug, please do that. But it's been a whirlwind of experience. I sold my business to finance the film, and basically have been jobless since. So it's been fun because I get to do things like this. So I'm very happy about it.
So Derrick, Swamphead.
Uh-oh.
So what the fuck?
Perfect. Well, let's go on to the next person.
Actually, explain what the hell you were thinking when you put that together, and and really, I would love to know what audiences that have watched it live have said. I know Dustin here is a huge Swamphead fan.
Okay, well, first I want to start out with saying I can take no credit in the writing and directing of Swamphead. I was merely a producer and an editor and a DP and an effects guy and a sound guy, and I acted in it. But I didn't direct or write that film. A film that we have that's coming out soon called Hole in the Wall, which is a Wisconsin horror-based anthology. That's something that I actually wrote and direct. But Swamphead was a film that took 6 years from gestational period until release. Well, it's not even really, well, I guess it's kind of released. Briarwood Entertainment, as you saw at the beginning of the tag, has it and is releasing like a VHS DVD combo box, like it's a throwback kind of thing. But it was the worst experience of my life making that film. But it was also something that brought me an immense amount of joy because I am a fan of old John Waters and Herschel Gordon Lewis and Frank Henenlotter and Trauma films, and obviously you can see by the trailer it emulates all of those in spades. It's crass, it's stupid, it's brainless, it's plotless, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And every single time that we've shown it at conventions or film festivals or private screenings in my basement, every single last person's had a blast with it, and that's all we ever wanted out of it. So I think a lot of people put too much attention toward having to find a film that is legitimate, and makes them look like a pompous, like they know what they're making something that's super important. All we ever wanted to make was a film that people enjoyed and had a good time with. So if you're a fan of like Trauma and stuff like that, and poop jokes, you will love Swamphead.
Matt, you have something completely different than everybody else.
Yeah, I love poop jokes.
Well, okay, so the same but different in the sense that Papa Zero is a web series, or at least it started out that way, and we've kind of nabbed that and played that during our various time slots. First of all, what's it like actually filming a series, specifically knowing that the audience is YouTube and you're trying to get hits, and obviously that works as far as a revenue generator in that sense?
I don't really care about hits, to be honest with you. We do it just for the love of making the film and stuff like that. If I like it, I mean, that may sound selfish, but that's good enough for me. And we haven't even been around a year, and we got over 6,000 hits. So I don't know what we're doing right or wrong, but we're having fun doing it, and that's all that counts.
So tell us just a little bit about the show. Like, what are some of the topics that you guys have covered, so that the audience isn't aware they can?
Well, it started out January. I was on Facebook, and one of my buddies posted some ghost towns, some pictures of ghost towns and stuff. So I called him up and I said, hey, let's do a documentary on it. He's like, all right, we'll do it in the spring. Well, 2 days later, he calls back. He goes, well, let's do a little like spoof on the Blair Witch. And I was game, so we did it, and I threw it on YouTube, see what happened, and 2 weeks later we had like 200 hits. So it's going really good, but basically we try not to do all the gore and stuff like that. We like to try to let the audience think what's going on and stuff like that. And we're having fun doing it. We're in our second season. We already got 3 bagged right now, and we're talking about doing a straight doc on different urban legends and stuff around Michigan, so that's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's also, like I mentioned, he's a Michigan filmmaker, basically out of Flint. That is really cool, because there's not really a lot of them that we've run into, at least on the channel. We've had a few that came to us through Three Corps Circus, so again, that's another reason why you want to go and support those local film festivals, because that's where you can find talent, and hey, they could be in your neighborhood, right? just kind of go back to Derrick. We'll just kind of bring it back around. That's what we do.
Whoa.
All right, so we have a procedure now, so this is less fun than it was before. Derrick, Hole in the Wall, you had mentioned a little bit. Tell us about some of the stories that are going to be in the anthology, because I know I've been kind of waiting for this for a little bit. It seems you built up anticipation.
Well, good. We're doing our job right.
Right.
Hole in the Wall originally started as a project that came about because of Mr. John Pata, actually, because he runs a horror film festival in Oshkosh, Wisconsin at the nonprofit theater every single year called the Oshkosh Horror Film Festival. And it, because of all the people, originally it was just Wisconsin-based horror filmmakers that were participants in this, and now this past year, it was opened up to just anyone across the globe. But originally, it was just Wisconsin-based filmmakers, and the first couple of years that we did it, all the people involved really got along, and there was a sense of community that was established. And through this, subsequently, I got to work on Dead Weight with John, and worked on a bunch of other films with the other filmmakers that were involved with the Horror Film Festival. And I went to John, and I went to my dear friend Corey Udler, who's the director of the Incest Death Squad series, and we were just like, what's a good way that we can get together and collaborate and make a movie together, and also highlight what we feel is a burgeoning Wisconsin horror film scene. And the best way was we were going to make an anthology film. Because of our sensibilities, the film is fucked up. So it's got my film called The Plainfield Chopper, starring the amazing Greg Johnson, who's also the star of the Incest Death Squad series. It's more of a Herschel Gordon Lewis Gorgor Girls kind of thing. And then Greg Johnson directed something of his own that's a throwback to Divine era John Waters, which I think most people will have no fucking idea what it is, but I love it dearly, and that's exactly the kind of films that I love and I want to make. And then Corey Udler has a piece called Ed Gein DDS that is really, really fun in the spirit of like shot on video and trauma and Ted V. Michaels and stuff like that. And we also have the director of Swamphead, Justin Prop, is doing a piece called The Cave of Abdominal Delights, which is about a Sasquatch that kills a bunch of people that make hunting videos, and he has rock hard abs. And Screaming Like Banshees, Rob Michaels and Carolyn Baker. Thank you, John. Bud Light, surprisingly, is actually giving me a buzz tonight. That's quite shocking. But they made probably the most single-handedly fucked up piece in the entire film. And I've already got kicked out of the bar here in the American Legion because I said fuck too much. They apparently don't like it when you say fuck here. No, it's probably not a good thing, and they already kicked me out. But I say it a lot. They made a piece called Scumbag, which is... it is wrong. And it almost starts out our movie. So it's not going to be a piece for everyone. We never intended it to be a piece for everyone. Every single piece that I've been a part of, from John's Dead Weight to Swamphead to the documentary that I edited for Jason Paul Collins, Screaming in High Heels, has always been about something that we felt passionate about and something we believe in. And if it'll find marketability through the passion that, you know, we put a quality product that's out there. And if people dig it, cool, they dig it. If not, whatever. We make this kind of stuff we want to see. And if people dig it, we love it. We really appreciate the few people that really get into the stuff. So I'll stop talking now. That's Hole in the Wall is basically the kind of movies we love and grew up on.
John, you're actually shooting a new, well, you may be done by now, right? You just completed a new short called Pity. Give us a little bit of a synopsis about what that's about.
Okay, so if there's any grindcore fans in the audience, there's a band called Pig Destroyer that they have an album called Prowler in the Yard, and in that album there's a 4-paragraph story, and the whole album kind of is a concept album about that story. Came over to a friend's house 8 years ago, and he's like, read this. And I read it, and I was like, wow, I remember my words exactly. I was like, that is the most beautifully disturbing story I've ever read. That should be a film. So in the beginning of this year, I reached out to the band and I secured the rights to make an adaptation of that story. So we just shot it last weekend in Wisconsin, and the whole film takes place inside a car. And it is about a gentleman who is sitting outside his ex-girlfriend's house during a rainstorm in his parked car as he is preparing himself to go in and confront her. But it's a very, very grim story. It'll probably only be about 5 or 6 minutes long, but we just shot it last weekend. Going to be in post-production for about the next 2.5 months and hoping to have it out end of January, beginning of February. And so hopefully we'll get it on Indie Horror TV.
So, you know, just because I'm standing here, by the way, doesn't mean that you have pressure to debut your films. So, if you don't show your film on Indie Horror TV, I'm going to have to cut the mic right now.
Well, we would love to.
Sorry. Dustin, I have, I'm trying to think of, because we've had 2 director's chats, actually, believe it or not, and somehow you can continue to come back for more. Don't know why. But you have made some of the most fucked up stuff I have ever seen in my entire life. And I mean that as a compliment, because obviously I just showed people Found.
Yeah.
So clearly I like that kind of stuff. What would you think? So out of all the films that and I know you've gotten reactions, what film has drawn the craziest reactions? and give us some examples of that.
Gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a crazy reaction that we've had. I mean, there's crazy negative reactions like "fuck you, kill yourself, stop making movies." That happens. Is anybody here from Scream magazine? Because if you are, go fuck yourself. I hate you. Because they literally said that about Puppet Monster Massacre, which is a movie I kind of like because I made it. I don't know. I guess maybe I'll approach it this way. Puppet Monster Massacre, for those of you who don't know, is a horror movie that's done entirely with puppets, like Muppet-looking puppets, and it's bloody, and there are puppet boobs in it, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Puppet sex scenes.
There's puppet sex scenes.
Yes.
It's like if Jim Henson made a horror movie in the 80s. And
he's not kidding. It actually looks like
it
that.
pretty much is. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a kid's show, but it's totally disgusting and weird and really silly. But what we found out, my girlfriend and I apologize if any of you in the audience are these people, but there are puppet people in the world, and we're not puppet people. We just we really like the Muppets, and I made a puppet movie. But there are people who live a lifestyle that involves puppets that they talk to and carry around with them. And apparently, if you make a movie about puppets, they will find you, and they will think that you are a puppet person. which led to some really uncomfortable situations. Didn't it, Sweet Pea? She's laughing back there. We've met some interesting folks who they'll be like, can I just act it out? If this is our, I'm going to get active. If that's our table, pretend this is one of the puppets from the movie. And you'll see this at a convention. Just walking by. Hold on. And then they go and they get their fucking puppet that they just carry around with them in their car. And they come back and they try to talk to the puppet that's on the table. And Erica's a lot more polite than I am, so she'll talk to them. I instantly go into do not engage. So I'm just I go into don't make eye contact, don't talk to these people. And Erica's like, oh, that's your puppet? And they're like, yeah, this is Zazzle, and he's my friend. And it's like, right, yeah. And then they never leave the table. And it's I guess that's the craziest thing I can think of is those puppet people. Maybe that's why I haven't made another puppet movie. I don't know.
Maybe that should be Revenge of the Puppet People.
Yeah, I should make a movie. Oh man, I should make a movie about puppets.
You were talking at one point about a Puppet Monster Massacre 2. You got your plot, I think.
Ooh. Did I do that?
I think you pissed off a puppet person somewhere.
Yeah.
Some guy is a puppet person.
I do want to make a Puppet Monster Massacre 2. Here's the thing about Puppet Monster Massacre 1 to explain why there's not a Puppet Monster Massacre 2 yet. Puppet Monster Massacre 1 almost killed me because I had no puppeteers. I puppeteered every puppet in the movie, which meant that in scenes where there's literally one point where there are 400 puppets on screen. soldiers. I had to puppeteer them all individually and then composite them together in the computer. It took half a year to film, pretty much nonstop, and then over a year of post-production to get the movie done. And the sequel is bigger, so I have to find a way to be able to afford to make it and to make it without dying. But I do want to make it, so hopefully someday.
I feel like you've met enough puppet people now that might want to help.
Yeah, I don't want them on my. I don't want them in my house near my pets.
So, Tyler, tell us a little bit about Midnight Frights. I mean, you work with Josh Wexelman, right? Is that the right way to say his name?
Yeah, that's how I say it. He says it differently, but I don't. I usually don't pay attention. So
yeah. So Josh W. Tell me what it's like working with him as your co-collaborator, and how the Midnight series, the Midnight Fright series, has worked for you so far.
Working with Josh you're taping this, right?
Yeah.
Working with Josh sometimes kind of sucks. He is a far more enthusiastic person than I am. We're both pretty negative, but he's the kind of guy that says we got to get this done, and he won't go away until it's done. And usually that means I'm staying up till 4 a.m. working on post-production for something. So working with Josh is, he's like, I don't want to say he's my better half. That just sounds weird. But but he seriously is like the driving force behind us getting stuff done. Sorry. I don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah, I haven't sworn at all the whole time. So we were doing that. We would have funded a film by now, I'm sure, or at least one of our films. So the second season is coming out. You said you've got a couple that you've already started working on?
We have stuff written for the second season. It's just a matter of, I've decided that after remission, I needed to take a break, and so I'm not touching my camera or my computer until the end of December. So it's pretty much up to me. We have some stuff written. We have some people that have helped us out with a lot of production stuff that are all writers and actors and stuff like that. They all have ideas, so we're going to try and bring in some more people and kind of make it into a big collaborative thing. Because, with Remission, in a year since we started Remission, we have made, I've made some of the best friends of my life. And, it's just amazing how tightly knit this little group can be. It's just so weird. You guys are talking about community. It's there. You just gotta reach out and find it.
And I noticed that there are pockets of independent film groups in states. I've noticed we've had one whole night that was dedicated to Nebraska filmmakers because we had enough stuff to work with. Wisconsin, it's really weird. I actually lived in the area that Derrick and John lived in, and when I was there was shit, by the way. I just want to say that sucks really bad. I leave, and all this cool stuff happens. But no, the Oshkosh Appleton area really is flooded with great filmmakers and a lot of brilliant minds. In Ohio, we've met obviously Dustin. There's Sean Burkett and Ryan Stacy. There's a whole bunch of people in the Ohio area. So I feel like in the Midwest specifically, there are a lot of really amazing filmmakers that just haven't had the ability to get their stuff out to people. So that's one of the things that we've been able to do, and I feel really proud of that. Does anybody have any questions for any of our guests tonight? Because if not, we're going to go and we'll probably lead right into Dead Weight. Drew's got a question.
So the beauty of independent film is that you can do whatever you want, right? There's no big brother telling you what you can and can't do. But there are certain limitations, funding and whatnot. So this kind of goes to the whole panel. Is there anything you've ever wanted to do in one of your films that you haven't been able to do? Nothing, huh? It's brilliant.
Oh, Derrick's got some here.
Oh, okay.
All I have to say is watch Swamphead, and you know that no, there is nothing that we wanted to do that we haven't done. There's literally. Okay, so this is something there, and I know Dustin's also coming to this, I'm sure, at some point, is that we've had people kind of come back at us because we do. we do not give a fuck. I think a little too much. And Swamphead has some characters that people feel are, and we've had, and I respect anyone that believes this, because art is subjective, and we don't sit and make things to please everyone. But I think at the same time, I think humor is also wildly subjective, and I think in the guise of humor, you should be able to talk about just about anything. Swamphead has characters in it. Let's just say there is one character who is mentally challenged and covered in poop most of the movie. And we've had some really bad reactions to this, to the point where some people have denied us screenings. Can I defend this? No. But but hey, I believe in, because as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of John Waters, and he was a person that believed in art and being able to speak your mind and be able to put whatever you wanted out there and let the audience decide for themselves. And I will always go behind that for everything that I do, because I don't really care about getting the mass culture believing in what I do, because I was never part of that in my film viewing when I grew up. I always liked fringe cinema, and Swamphead definitely is fringe cinema, and Hole in the Wall is for sure fringe cinema, because it totally harkens back to everything that we love. And so I think if in the indie scene, it gives you that opportunity to be able to say whatever you want. Will it limit you in the long run selling those movies? Absolutely. But will you feel good at the end of the day that you actually said what you wanted to? Yeah.
Something never done that I wish I could do is pay everyone that works on the film. And I mean, that's like totally true. Just speaking for Deadweight, for example, feature-length film we shot in 10 days. 7 of those days were at the end of April. 3 of those days were in August. First day, gale force winds. We're standing in an open field with 60-mile-per-hour winds. Everyone leaves with windburn. Second day, we're sitting around a campfire for 6 hours. Everyone is inhaling so much smoke that they get sick for the rest of the shoot. Third day, or April 19th in Wisconsin, hey, it's a beautiful spring day, right? No, fuck you, 12 inches of snow in 2 hours. We have to film in the middle of a blizzard. We have to rewrite our scenes, find new locations. Fourth day is because it's Wisconsin, it's the Midwest. Now it's 60 degrees out, and everything that was snowed on is now melting. So we are standing on a functioning farm, new location, ankle deep in slush and cow shit. And 90% of that cast and crew never got a penny. We had SAG actors, so we had to pay the SAG actors. We had a professional DP, so we paid him. Aside from that, it was all volunteer based. We put our cast and crew through shit. And I mean, that goes probably for any independent film. 16-hour days, worse conditions, you're eating peanut butter sandwiches, and they're there because they love it. And they're there, and they're busting their ass. And the best you can do is say, thank you, we're gonna get this film out there. I would love to say, thank you, here's $500 for your work. Thank you, here's $1,000, here's $200, I don't care, here's something. Just don't have the budget to do that. So someday, everyone will get paid.
And laid. I agree with everything John just, that's totally true. And I think it's something people don't realize a lot of times, especially people who knock what we do, because those people exist. It's like you don't realize like how much it is really just fueled by passion, and how can you hate something that is just literally fueled by will and passion. Something that I wanted to add is that, and this won't work for every kind of film. Like this, John, who makes like good movies, this won't work for him. But but my sort of theory of filmmaking is that, like, if any of you've seen my films, I have giant rabbits attack cities. Things blow up, people blow up. All this shit happens, and it costs nothing, and it looks ridiculous. But my theory is just that if you want to do something, if you want to represent something visually, it's better to try to make it look awesome than to make it look realistic. So I've never really come up against that wall where I'm like, oh, I can't have a 747 crash into the giant Sasquatch. Of course I fucking can. It's going to look stupid, but like maybe that's part of the fun. And one of the biggest like validations for me as a filmmaker was have any of you guys heard this movie called Manborg? Oh yeah. Have you guys seen Manborg? If you haven't seen Manborg, go fucking buy Manborg right now.
Go watch Deadweight. Go watch Manborg.
Fuck Deadweight. Go get. No, I'm just kidding. Deadweight. I haven't seen Deadweight, but I'm about to. Anyway, Manborg is $7.50 on Amazon right now, and I suck this movie's dick. Sorry to be crass, all the time, because it was made by Canadians for $1,000 Canadian, and they did the most amazing and ridiculous stuff you've ever seen, and like they operated on the same sort of wavelength that I do when I make my movies. So like, even though Steven Kostanski is like my age or younger and probably in the exact same position I am, he's like my hero. So every time I talk to him, I'm like, Steven, your movie's so good. I just love it. Manborg's the best. You know, like I can't help it. They made another movie called Father's Day 2, which a lot of people really dig. And you know, if you like Manborg and stuff, you should check that out. Anyway, my point is, I'm sorry I'm rambling, is that if you have the drive to figure out how to do it, you can almost represent just about anything on screen. You just have to find a way to do it, and you have to be okay with it not looking awesome. Because, like I just said, like if you're trying to make like I use the term good movie, like John makes like good like movies that look like real movies. Like my movies don't look like real movies. Like you can't get away with it. But otherwise, build shit out of cardboard, buy toy airplanes like I did. Like do whatever you can to get your ridiculousness on screen. So I'm done.
All right, any other questions from the audience? We have the camera, sorry. All right, well, thanks to everybody, by the way, for being up here and for coming to the party, and of course, for letting us hear your work. That has been a key piece to why this channel has worked. We've had such a wide variety of films, some really talented filmmakers, and we're proud of every single piece of work that we've been able to air and promote. And I can't express my gratitude enough. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So we're going to show a real quick clip from Eagle Walk right before we go right into Deadweight. I just want to point out one thing about Deadweight, and this is going to blind you, so you know. See this Horror Hound magazine? This is the brand new issue. I just got this in the mail. Horror Hound's pretty cool. It's kind of a harken back to the old days when Fangoria was still good. Horror Hound listed off 113 movies of the last 13 years that were basically overlooked, underrated, and definitely deserve some credit. Deadweight made the list. So I think that speaks for itself. I know that John will be modest about it, but I was not at all surprised that it made the list. In fact, I would have been putting it very high myself if I was writing that article. So I will lead us into Eagle Walk, and then it's Deadweight.